In this video, I want to cover an NFT project that I think is building an absolutely incredible ecosystem, and I think may even hit a 200 SOL floor. And I'm not talking about SOL at $30. I'm talking about when SOL does eventually bounce back to $150, $200. And this project is called Atadia, I don't really know how to say it properly, but I'll just say Atadia. And they're building a collective analytics platform for the NFT and Web3 space. So this is really cool. And as you can see on their website, their art is absolutely incredible. So before we even get into what they're building on the tech side, they just come across as a very, very professional brand, very professional company. So essentially what these guys are doing is they're building an analytics platform, right? One of the first products they're building, it's called PFPScore. So essentially PFPScore, it's kind of like a credit rating, but on the blockchain. And really they basically came up with this concept because essentially some people obviously are more diamond-handed. Some people just flip NFT projects or sell below floor. So the whole idea is by looking at your transaction history, it's pretty easy to get an idea if you're a whitelist grinder and if you're selling every NFT you mint right after on the aftermarket. And likewise, it's possible to see if you're a long-term holder. And this can be incredibly powerful to other NFT projects as you can prioritize whitelists for people with higher PFP scores. However, the applications go way beyond NFT projects, right? So for example, by looking at your account history, your funds, and more, you can predict the likelihood of you paying back a loan on a DeFi platform, right? So for example, if you're somebody who's been a long-term DeFi user and you have a great history of paying back loans on these platforms, you could potentially get better interest rates, better terms. You could potentially borrow more with less collateral. So another use that you can also do with this is what they did with their own mint, which is mint now and pay later. So you could actually mint their NFT and pay for it at a later point. And this is, again, a great model for those NFT projects that have, if you're able to find users that have a great PFP score and reputation. So the applications are massive because what this does is this essentially takes that whole credit history / credit score mechanism and puts it on the blockchain. And then when you introduce credit, obviously you have a lot more ability to basically convince people to buy your NFTs. You have a lot more ability to have basically less collateral on your projects, etc. So there's just a lot more you can do. Now, there is a lot of competition in the space, but Atadia is unique in the sense that the NFT gives you governance rights and emissions of their token. So this project is pretty decentralized compared to the many centralized analytics startups in the Web3 space. And they're very much focused on the NFT market to start with, which again is something that a lot of these centralized projects are not really focused on, right? Like they're maybe more focused on DeFi. These guys are focused on the NFT market, which I think is going to get bigger and bigger. Yes, we're having a bear market right now, but I do think NFTs are going to make a strong comeback over the next couple of years. Now, not only can you use this PFP score for finding good people to add to your whitelist or community, you can also use this to vet project founders as well. So the data analysis can find addresses that were associated with blacklisted wallets, right? Like wallets that were involved in rugs. And for example, if you receive funds from those, you'd be able to see that. And this is a great way to vet founders and just make sure they have a clean history. And this is basically will improve the level of trust for NFT projects if they use that feature. Now, let's talk quickly about their team, right? We've talked about the use case. Let's talk about their team. So while a large part of their team is undoxed, their founder is doxed. So that's pretty promising. And essentially, he's got some incredible experience, right? So he is basically the founder of Siametrics Consulting, a Bangkok-based data science consultancy. And they have worked with some of the biggest people in Thailand, right? So they've worked with Unilever, Lacoste, the Stock Exchange of Thailand. So while I usually prefer fully doxed teams, I do think the founder has extensive data analytics and data science experience. And he's also hired a lot of community members for his team that are currently, we don't know their identity, but it does seem like he's very serious about building a real business. He's built multiple real businesses before. He's got a lot of experience. VLink, again, is another business that basically is the e-commerce analytics space, and they've been doing a pretty great job. So I do think the team is pretty solid. Founder is doxed. Obviously, would prefer if the rest of the team was as well, but overall, I'm pretty positive on these guys. Now, let's talk about the utility of these NFTs. So the major utility is each token will provide their holder between 80 and 100,000 of their utility token. So the token can also be staked for their governance token at a later point, and NFT holders will help govern the ecosystem and decide on the direction of the project. NFT holders also get access to an alternate reality game that they're building, but obviously I think the main benefits are governance and also access to the utility token. Now, one thing I do want to say, if you look at their website, right, their branding is absolutely on point, and their collection is incredible too, right? Like their art is just on point. Like this is something I wouldn't mind as basically having it as one of my profile pictures, just because it's just so well done. Now, if you look at their updated roadmap, right, where they're talking about all these interesting features they're building, you can see that they have a lot of very, very cool features that they're building and cool tools that they're building, including this Alpha Book Commerce protocol, which is essentially kind of, you're able to even do decentralized persona-based ads and lead gen based on what people have in their wallets. They want to have an investor preference estimation system, which is getting into why people buy their NFTs. And yeah, so they're building some really cool deep tech analytics products. Now, other than that, though, they've also put a massive focus on their community and brand, right? So obviously the artwork is incredible, but they are focused on also, really building their strong community with alpha write-ups, merc, educational content, and also story and lore. So the founders actually created or written a book in Pi that's kind of like a sci-fi book around this Atadian universe. So they are going for the brand play as well, right? And their merc looks absolutely insane, right? These prints look beautiful, these stickers, etc. So what I like about this project and why I'm very much bullish, other than all the features they're building, is that they're taking their brand seriously. So basically what it feels like is they're combining the best of projects like DeGods and Shadowy Supercoder. So another popular utility project on Solana is Shadowy Supercoder, which has a pretty high floor just because of the utility aspect of it, where you get access to their token and they're building like legit tech products, right? So having their token essentially gives you very strong exposure to their ecosystem. So Shadowy Supercoder, as you can see, they only have 30 listed out of 10,000, which is pretty incredible. So the only thing about Shadowy Supercoder is there's not really a strong brand around it. Yes, there is this brand of, we're the tech kind of OGs of Solana and we're building tech products, but it's not incredible art. It's not incredible merc. So DeGods, on the other hand, on the utility side, there's definitely utility, but they're definitely much more of a branded play. You can see the floor is absolutely insane at 296. And the reason for that is when you have a project that's more, brand-based, you don't have a ceiling, right? You don't have people doing math on the utility and the potential token emission and how much that's worth, because now there's the brand itself creates this basically value. What I like about Atadia is I feel like it has best of both worlds, where like Shadowy Supercoder, you get massive exposure to upside from their token and utility if they are able to build a project that works. But like DeGods, they also have this really strong brand aspect. In fact, I think the art is mind-blowingly good. So yeah, this potentially makes it a very strong cloud/flex project like Solana Monkey Boys and DeGods. So I do think it can attract a really strong community, the best investors, builders, and traders in the space, and it'll result in a floor price that's far higher than a pure utility project can justify. So guys, I would encourage checking out their roadmap. There's so much in there. I haven't covered half of it. These guys are building something incredible. Their current floor price, I believe, is just 20 SOL or 20, basically current prices is around $700 for one of these, which in my mind is a pretty freaking good deal for a project that's building such interesting products. I do think that this is I'm going to buy one of these, maybe buy a couple more down the line. So yeah, I highly encourage checking them out. And guys, check me out on Twitter as well. So I often post a lot of alpha threads, a lot of new new things I'm working on Twitter. So yeah, follow me at my Twitter, and I will obviously keep you informed on other cool projects. So thanks again for watching this video.